Alright, I hope you can hear me because it's kind of windy. I'm going to make a little video. I hope you can hear me, but it's because it's kind of windy here. So in front of me are the new bikes we started carrying at Buds. It's called the 7.9 bike. This is the Falcon GT. There are two models, the Falcon Pro and the Falcon GT. Pro is a 10 kilowatt, this is a 15 kilowatt bike. So this puts out more power. I believe it's 21 horsepower versus 14 horsepower. When I look at this bike and I kind of figure out what exactly the category it is that it fits into, it doesn't fit into anything. Okay, this is my KX250, this is my trail bike, that's what I ride when I go out on the trails. This is my mountain bike, it's a Giant Transvance Pro, awesome bike, I use it to go mountain bike. And this is my son's KLX 140, we goof around with that in the backyard using it as a pit bike. I would say that this is more like a pit bike, it's like my son's KLX 140, but it rides more like a mountain bike in the way that your brakes, it's not like a mountain bike, brakes are backwards compared to your mountain bike, so it is the front brake on the throttle hand, but the left hand is the rear brake instead of a clutch. And on my mountain bike, that's actually backwards. My left hand is my front brake, my right hand is my back brake. So it is backwards compared to that. The way that it actually rides, though, it rides more like my mountain bike in the way that it's so incredibly light. Same height as my mountain bike, maybe a little shorter, but just the way that the bike whips around and moves around, it rides more like my mountain bike. The track that we're riding around on in my backyard, it's a very small little track, you know, it's made for pit bikes. If I was to ride my KX on it, it wouldn't be any fun because I wouldn't get out of first gear. There's no straightaways long enough to get out of first gear, so you'd constantly be spinning out or just revving the snot out of it. The one thing I really like about this is where we live, my neighbor right behind me here, he's got horses. And when I'm running this, it's so loud, I don't even run this here because I know I'm going to spook my neighbor's horses. This is so quiet, it literally sounds like an RC car. It makes almost no noise. There's a zipping sound from the electric motor and dirt flying in the air off the back tire. It makes no noise. And I know my neighbor appreciates that. I don't ride that in my backyard just because I know it's going to spook his horses. Even my son's bike, it's loud compared to this. I'm going to say it's very loud compared to this. In terms of fun factor, I put a huge fun factor on this. I think it's a riot. Other things that it talks about, mileage, everybody says, oh, you're not going to, what's the range on it? It says under optimal conditions, it's going to be 75 miles. That's 120 kilometers. I don't get 120 kilometers to a tank on this bike. If I do, I'm absolutely pushing the limit of it. I had one ride where I got over to the zone just north of Sault Ste. Marie, expecting to get gas. They weren't open, so I had to limp it home, and I did make it home. But I don't think I did 120 kilometers that day. I don't even think I was close to it. I haven't had a chance to take this out on the trails yet, so 120 kilometers right now, even if it was 100 kilometers, I'd be impressed by that. That would be the equivalent of a tank of gas on this guy. Or maybe even a little more. And this is a 6-liter tank in this bike. The thing I don't like about it is the seat. It pushes you forward, so my bones from my butt are sitting right up here because it pushes you right into here all the time. I would rather have it like a motocross seat where it's flat all the way across. I can sit here, 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 or here. This, when I try to sit back here, it keeps pushing me forward. And then where the battery cover meets, the battery cover actually comes out over the seat. It's pretty uncomfortable that way. If you were riding trails or anything like that, no problem. Just kind of keep yourself pushed back a little. Other things I want to do with this, I do want to hit the trails with it. I'll make a video next weekend riding some of the trails that I usually ride on this. My range expectations should be the same as that. It's just when I get into some spots where it gets a little hairy on this thing, I kind of expect that this will either cut right through it. So when I used to ride mountain bikes in the O-Cups, if you'd hit a water cross, like a big puddle or something like that, your tires are so skinny, you just cut right down to the bottom and keep going. Whereas with this guy, I just wheelie over top of them. I don't know what's going to happen with this. The tires aren't as skinny as my mountain bike, but they're a lot skinnier than this. So I don't know if they'll cut through the mud. I'm going to find that out later. My overall first impression on this, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to talk about the app for this in a separate video because there are different ride modes. On eco mode, right now, I have this set out to max out at 15 kilometers an hour. The reason is I'm trying to get the other people in my family to try it, like my wife and my son. They're timid, though, because they've watched me in driver mode, which is 80% power. And it's more than enough at 80% power. I've got it set down to 15% power, and then the acceleration is just so jumpy, it's just there, that I've got it turned so that all of the torque applies over the entire 100% of the range of the throttle. It's still fairly jumpy, though. I would say it's torquey. I do enjoy not having to clutch all the time. So on the track that I got going right here, if I was on this, it's gas, clutch, shift, gas, clutch, shift. You're always moving through the gears on this. And what I find is when I'm on the trails, typically I'll just get into second gear, and I stay in second gear. That's the gear I'm in all the time. With this, I just peel into a corner as fast as possible, hit the brakes. With this being my back brake, I let off the throttle. I can go full back brake and skid the back tire coming up to a turn. It's pretty fun that way. Suspension, comparing the suspension to this, it's not as good, but I have no complaints about it. That is a similarity, I would say, to my mountain bike. The suspension on the mountain bike is more like this than the suspension on your dirt bike. This is just stiffer, a lot more travel. The suspension in my mountain bike is a lot softer, but it absorbs stuff a lot better. You know, when I'm going over rocky terrain or hopping up rocks, it'll just soak it up, whereas this kind of hits it and bounces. I know I can adjust that out, but that's just the way I have it set right now. But the suspension is fully adjustable, so my spring is fully adjustable, my rebound is fully adjustable, dampening. So I should say the dampening and the rebound are fully adjustable. And that's the same on the back as well. So with the back shock, it's right here. I have full adjustment on the piggyback. And then on the fork tubes, the top is where I have adjustment on those. It does have a headlight. The headlight is very bright. I got it home the other night and I was playing around with it in the front yard. When it was dark out, it has a high beam and a low beam. And both of them were bright enough. You could definitely ride it at night. I don't know what the licensing is on these yet, so I've actually texted a friend of mine who's a police officer, and I said, what are the rules with this? Because when I look it up on ChatGPT and Google, what it says is it has to have pedals, and it can't put out more than 500 watts to be classified as an e-bike. So it's definitely not an e-bike because it puts out 15 kilowatts as opposed to 5 watts. And it doesn't have pedals. But then if I look at the horsepower, this guy here is, I think, 10 horsepower. This is 21 horsepower. My CRF 250L, it was 22 horsepower, and I had to have it licensed. So I don't know what the licensing rules are for these yet. I do have a phone call into a friend of mine. Hopefully he can get me an answer on that and just let me know what the local police department is saying about them. I see these all over town. I know that there are people, we just had the roof redone at the dealership, and one of the workers that was on the crew to come in and do the roof, he came in on a Suron, and he just rode in like it was any day of the week. His anxiety level of being pulled over for not having a license was 0. So I don't know what the rules are yet, but I will find that out. So right now, as far as I know, there's no licensing or registration required for these, but I will find out if that's true. There is a tail light on this that has brake and signal, so left-hand, right-hand turn. It does have a horn. It has an odometer and a trip. It has regenerative braking on the back. So instead of hitting the back brake and using the disc brake, I can hit thumb, and the thumb is regenerative braking. So as my back tire is slowing or resisting the roll, power from that is going back up into my battery. Other stuff, quality-wise, I think it's a really well-built bike. There's nothing on it that I can look at and say this is cheap. There's nothing cheap about this bike. The quality is excellent. The swing arm's good. The brakes are good. The chain and the sprockets are good. These are all castings on the rear suspension. Your shock, I will say, it's probably more like mountain bikes where the suspension has been developed over a long period of time. It was the mountain biking industry developed it, and Fox came on real strong. RockShox started, Manitou started it, and then Fox came on real strong. I'm going to say 2016, 2017, somewhere in there, Fox started coming in really strong. Now, what you're seeing, these are called Fast Ace, and this is also a Fast Ace on the back, or sorry, this is 7.9 bike on the back. I do think these bikes are going to go through a period where they develop their own suspension. So all of your companies, like the Sur-On 7.9 bikes, they are all going to develop their own brakes, and then you'll probably see one company or two companies spur off and be kind of the two main go-to companies, like Shimano is or Fox is for suspension and mountain biking. Other stuff, I'll show you the app. The app's pretty impressive. Other than that, that's kind of my take on it right now. If you have any questions about these, you can always get in touch with me at the dealership. So it's Brady at robinsonmotorsports.ca, or you can give me a phone call, Bud Robinson Motorsports, 705-256-5326. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please give me a call. If you want to try one out, we'll just bring it over to my house and take it for a run out in the backyard. Anyways, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good day.